Welcome, everybody. There's a few people online. Hi, Brendan. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, everybody. Welcome. If you could just give me a yes if you can hear my voice and it's clear, welcome. Just a yes would be great. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. What a beautiful day it's been today. I had the blessing to be able to see somebody that I haven't seen for many years, which was amazing. So it's been a really happy day today. The farm is doing really well. If you didn't see the video I put up this morning, I tried to keep my private life private to a degree, but I also like to share the balance of the fact that I practice what I preach, meaning walk the walk, talk the talk. So many people talk about growing your own food and all this, and it's just regurgitated other people's information that makes them sound good. But do they actually do the work? Do they actually have they put in the time and the effort and followed that path? So it's always good to see who you're listening to. It's always good to see, is this person really speaking their truth? Not to say that we are all work in progress. Of course we are, and we make mistakes every day. But if you're following people who just regurgitate other people's information, you've got to have to ask yourself, what is it about this person that I'm listening to? So I think, if I listen to somebody who talks about plants, I want to know that they know everything and they've studied plants and they work with plants every day. So for me, that's vital information and vital towards me listening to people. So I'm becoming more and more. I discern. I don't just simply listen and believe. I have to study somebody before I listen to them now, because so many of us are getting shot in the foot because we've listened to somebody and then we find out they're basically frauds or fakes. So it's important to. So that's why I make the video. Say, look, this is where I live. This is the fruit and veg that we're planting. These are mangoes. This is my lifestyle, which it's not easy. It ain't easy. You know how many weeks, every single morning, every night, without fail, you can't stop, keep watering till the seeds become seedlings, and then you have to take them over and then get everything. And it takes time, but the rewards, reap the rewards. So welcome to this beautiful 1 hour, or maybe a little bit longer, see how we go, Tarot workshop. Before I begin, I'd like to say, I think we should all start by putting some oil. I'm going to use Moldavite oil because it's here and it's good for attuning to high frequency. So I just take a few drops before I start my readings. This is how I used to do it. Breathe the oil through my nose and blow out through my mouth, with the thought of breathing in healing energy and breathing out all the toxicity that we hold in and with and around us. When I feel I'm getting to a nice kind of relaxed place, I'll rub on my forehead, third eye, help me see the truth. I repeat it in my mind, help me see the truth. Behind my ears, help me hear the truth. Throat, help me speak the truth. And then on my chest, help me feel the truth. And just on a side note, I always say a little mantra. I do not see death. I only see life. I do not see obstacles. I only see resolution. That's just something that you could maybe incorporate into your reading before you start. You say it inside. I'm saying it out so you can hear me. You don't necessarily need to use those words, but it's a good reminder of life and how we have the gift to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel that your client doesn't see, or even you. So, welcome everybody. Before I begin talking about the cards and laying them, there's certain things that I feel that I'd like to share with you through the experience of reading cards for 20 years. And that is very similar to energy. Whatever we do is energy. How we think about things, how we feel things, how we work with things, it's all energy. Everything's energy. So if you see it that way, if you are somebody who works in this field of work as a healer, then any good healer with integrity will say that I do not do my work if I'm not well. Therefore, it's the same with working with cards. If you're not feeling well, mind, body, and spirit, leave the cards alone. Get better. And when you feel better, then your readings are going to be the same energy as you. If you're feeling bad, then you're going to see that badness within the cards because you're not the same frequency. So I think it's vital that we understand that if we've had a bad day, if somebody's if we've done something that we wish we hadn't done, if somebody's treated us really badly, if you're starting to feel physically sick, and so on, then leave the cards alone. Use them when they are at a time of good frequency, of good energy. Use them when you are at your best, and there's something in that. So I used to not do readings when I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel right today. This is because I'm going to be influenced and I'm going to influence the cards, and you can influence the cards. But if you are feeling good, if you're feeling strong, if you're feeling happy, then the influence is only positive energy. So there's a lot of tarot readers who insist on bringing fear into readings by saying, to anybody who's thinking about using tarot cards, they're dangerous. You should only use them because they're this and they're that. Well, I don't work that way. I don't bring that danger into this. They are what they are. Okay. They are what they are. Are they dangerous? No, but we can be dangerous. We as a human being in this body and the brain that we have and the mouth that we have, we can use it wrong. And if we're not feeling good, we can say the wrong things. Okay. So that's one thing. Just be aware of how you're feeling to when you use the cards. The second thing is anybody can be a bully. Anybody can use the cards and feel the greatest of power because we are making somebody feel weaker, or we're making them feel that they are, let's say, putting you on a pedestal, looking at you as the god, the guru, and that too is a dangerous place, very dangerous. Okay, so my understanding on tarot cards is, yes, I do take them serious in the sense that I do know that they hold great power and energy, but I do it in a light-hearted manner. So, you can be serious, but in a light-hearted manner. And that's how I've always been. And I think that's a good approach to do the readings. It's so easy to scare people. It's so easy to make somebody believe when you're using these cards, and you can just go off the rails. I've seen it so many times. I've sat next to people who've done readings and I've cringed and thought they're either bullies or they're desperate for power. They've got a weak life. They've got no life at all. So they're trying to make themselves feel as if they're self-important and bloat their egos up. And again, I often say to people, if you go for a reading, if you're not comfortable with this person, if your intuition's saying, hey, hang on a minute, get up and walk away. Just walk away. Okay. You trust you, because I've seen too many people spend years trying to get out of that 1 hour session when they should have got up and left. They should have gone, right? But they didn't. And because of that, they endured the absolute arrogance and the weakness of a tarot reader who is filled with self-importance and bloated with ego, and to the point where they've got this God complex. And it happens to a lot of people. So thirdly, stay humble. Stay humble. Okay, stay humble. Stay humble. If you've done a good reading and somebody's saying amazing things about you, stay humble. Okay, you're only as good as your last reading. So stay humble. So that said, let's begin then. So you already all know, guys, that I use one set of cards, which is the Carl Rohreg deck. I don't use way cards any, because this is the cards that I work with. So if you're here and you think, oh, but I don't use them cards, well, maybe you could try and give these cards a go. So even if you haven't got them with you, it's nice to look at them and see if you connect. You might not even connect with them, and you might think, oh, no, I can't use them, because a lot of people do. Only 1% of tarot readers can use these cards, okay? So because it's not tarot cards per se. They don't look like them, and they don't relate to what they want to see. So they're a little bit modern for most people, but that's okay. Again, each to their own. But you can still learn a little bit from me, even though you might not use these cards. So first of all, when I take the deck, I used to use different formats of how I dealt the cards. When I first began, I worked with angel cards, and I'd have a past, present, and future. Don't do any of those things now. What I do is I take the cards and put 1 card, 2 card, 3 card, and then below, underneath them, 1 card, 2 card, 3 cards. So basically, you've got 3 cards on the top, 3 cards on the bottom. And then I will continue going the same way. 1 card, 2 card, 3 card. The reason why is because if I keep doing this, all the cards are going to be completely different each reading I do. Okay. So all the cards are very separate in the 6. So not one card is going to link up to the other card. So this is how I do it. You can do it any way you want. You can shuffle them. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. On a side note, if a card goes, oh, and it's just fallen, right? Or there's a card that ends up like, so you're turning the cards over one after another. All of a sudden, there's one card like that. Or there's a card that falls out. Many people ask me, ooh, is that a sign? I always look at it this way. Sometimes you can drop one by accident, just happens. But don't think it. Just feel it. Does it feel like anything? No, it doesn't today. Don't feel like there's any message. And your client might say, oh, did that mean anything? And say, not to me today. No, it just fell out of my hand. And then another day it could flip over and think, oh, yeah, there's something in this. So I don't always believe everything is set in stone. And I think that's kind of, for me, it's always kept me balanced, right? Oh, you obviously don't believe it. I do believe it if it feels it. I've got to feel it first. Okay, so when I've done that, right, I'll take 3 decks of the cards from anywhere, not like 1, 2, 3. I'll take them from anywhere. So I took one from the top left, one from the bottom left, and the middle bottom. So now I'm going to choose the middle right as the first one, the top middle, and the top right. Okay, no idea why, just have. So I take one deck and put them to the right hand side and one deck to the left. So I've got a space in the middle. And how I do it is I'll begin to tune into my client. And the way I attune to my client is I'll just say to them, I'll move the cards to each side and say, can I have your hands here? Okay, and opposite side of me, and they put their hands down, and I'll just gently put my hands over their hands and close my eyes and just feel for a while. I won't be wanting to feel anything. I'll just want to connect to their energy. And in time, sometimes you can feel pains and sometimes you can feel emotions, and sometimes you'll get clear messages coming through just by their energy. So I used to be an energy reader by closing my eyes and feeling them. Sometimes I'd finish after 1 hour, and then they'd look at me and say, "You've never even read one of the tarot cards." And I'd say, "I know, because I tuned to you." And they'd say, "Oh, no, no, it doesn't matter. I'm just surprised that I thought you read cards." I says, "Yeah, I do read the cards, but sometimes I don't. It depends." So like some people get worried because they haven't used all the cards. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would you have to use all the cards? That's your brain kicking in. So in any given reading, I might not use a card. I might use one card and then talk for an hour, or I might use all of the cards. It all depends on what's going on. But the point being is there is no rule in my guidance to reading tarot. It's just you flow with each individual client. Now, I kind of see that if everybody's reading in the same rigid way, then what room is there to experience something different? So just because I've done the cards like that, and just because I've told you what I've said, doesn't mean that what I've said is set in stone. Everything can change at any given moment every time I do a reading. So my first reading started with 3 cards, and then it changed and it changed and it changed and it changed, because you are evolving and your cards evolve with you. And then it could be that you evolve so much that you put your hands over somebody and you never need to use the cards again. But I never did this. I told you before, my auntie, I love my auntie to bits, but when my dad died, he was being buried, and she's a spiritualist. I was never into any of these things, and I went over to England, and she came up to me, well, as my dad's being buried, and she says, "Oh, I've heard you started to do readings," and like, okay, auntie, and you see, she said, and she needed to get this in, of course. You see, I don't need to use cards. I've got a direct line to spirit. So it's like, really? Really? Is it a competition? Is it about, does that mean you're a better, spiritual person? It's like, I just don't get it. I don't get that. Each individual has a unique expression to their connection, and there's no such thing as better or worse. And I've told you this before. There's been many a times that I've had the top psychics around the world ask me to do platform work. I can't do platform work. It's not my work. I can't stand on a platform and start saying, "Oh, I've got, Sam here and he's talking to me and he's telling me." I can't do that. That's not who I am. And I don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. This is what I'm comfortable doing. Sat here, you and me, no audience, and me trying to feel your energy and trying to feel anything I can do to help you feel better, so that you get up out of that chair and you walk out of that door and you can conquer the world. And no matter what comes your way, Mark, mention these things. And as I say to my clients, whatever's said, shelve it, put it on a shelf. And on only when you need it, pull certain things that, oh, I remember Mark said that. Maybe let me think about this. Right? Or, oh my God, that happened. I remember when Mark said that. So it's not a life and death scenario when we read. It's light, it's loving, and it just helps you on your journey. If you put these cards out now with a woman next to you and she's upset, and you can feel she's upset, and she might say, I'm with a man and I don't know what to do. If you say to this woman, "Oh, get rid of him, he's horrible. I don't like him," then you're not a reader. You're not a reader. You don't know what that man's going through. You don't know how he's felt about the woman. You don't know what that woman's going through. You don't know. Just because they sat there paying your wages, you feel that you have to give them what you think is the right thing. No, no, you're not a reader. You're not a reader. That's not a reader. A reader sits on a fence and does not see good or bad, but sees the way through to navigate in their life. and anything that you can do to help. I remember one particular woman who came to me and started having a go about her husband. I turned some cards over and I explained what had happened to her husband and certain things that she didn't know, that spirit was guiding me to give her information. After that, she was in tears. She was going to leave him. She went back home. They sat down. They had a conversation for a few hours. She came back the following week. She brought a plant. It was like a little yucca, as a gift, saying, from my heart to yours, thank you. My marriage has been rekindled because I didn't realize what he'd gone through. I was so detached from emotion and understanding and feeling my husband that I didn't see what you helped me see. And I said, well, I didn't help you see it. It was just in the cards. It was what I felt, that the spirit world was guiding me. But so you're happy, you're resolved, yes. And they were going on holiday the following day, rekindling their love. Now, 90% of readers would have said, oh, yeah, he's horrible. Yeah, get rid of him. No, that's not a reader. That's not what readers do. You can't just say, get rid of him. It's important that you look at the scenario, because if they walk out of there and get rid of him and their life all goes wrong, then they're going to be upset with you. Now, if there is situations when you're giving readings, I always say this, look, exhaust everything till the point where you say, okay, I've done everything. If you walk away from a relationship and you haven't exhausted that relationship to the degree of looking back thinking, yeah, maybe I should have stayed, or maybe I could have done this, maybe I should have done this, that's no way to leave a relationship, in my opinion. And so that's something to think about. Okay, you don't want anybody leaving there and then saying, you told me to leave him, but I've always had this, and it's been 6 years now, and I'm like, did I, should I, or shouldn't I? So I just don't buy into that. I like to look at what's the root cause of the issue. Everything else is like superficial. They come in, they cry, he did this to me. Okay, well, let's look and let's see what's going on. And when we look at them, we also look at the person in front of us. So we look at all aspects of what's going on. We try and build a picture so the client in front of you sees that picture and feels that picture and then embraces that picture, to be able to go away and think about everything. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about leaving my house and selling it. Okay. So you would think, all right, let's see if it's a good idea, if it's a bad idea. I wouldn't do that. I would turn the cards over and see what it says. I wouldn't turn the cards over for the yes or a no scenario, because that's too easy. And I prefer to say, okay, let's see why. If we did, where would we go? What would happen? And it's not just one journey, there could be 3. So from one question, you could go into a full hour reading just by one question. So that's how I used to read. Very different from most people, I believe, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a lot more people who read like me. So thus far, what does that sound like to you? I don't see death. We all die. I see life. Oh, yeah, you're going to die. Oh, yeah, your grandma's going to die. Oh, yeah. So, like, oh, just stop. This is about life. This is about how we can live the best of our life till the time that it's our moment to go. So, sorry, Dee, I don't see, I always remember this lady coming to me about her husband, and I kept looking at her and said, please don't ask. Please don't ask. She's on my wall over there. Penelope, I loved her to bits, and she never said it, but I just was like, don't ask, and she'd smile. She knew I knew, and the reason why is because Penelope was worth 500 million euros, but her husband wouldn't ever let her touch the money to do good. Right? And I said, every time you think this, for me, it's like, oof, that's not good. That's not good. The reason why is I don't know why this is, but there was always a pattern of when somebody wanted something to happen to somebody like that, not because, I mean, the guy was 91 years old. He died at 96, 97. And guess who died first? Penelope. And he lasted a few years longer. So, the other thing is, tell me I'm not coming back to this world again. Oof, don't. Just say I keep coming back till I don't need to come back. It's a bit like there's just something in that I just don't get. And I also don't like stepping stones neither. I don't like that. I want to leave. I want to meet somebody so then I can leave him. No, don't do that. Don't do that. For me, it's like we've come into this world. Don't look for the easy option. Look for the option whereby it's your spiritual path that needs to grow. And the only way you can do that is by looking at it head on and tackling it. What Penelope should have done is said to her husband, I'm sorry, but I've been in this relationship with you and I will take this money and I will do good with it. And some of you might know the story. She left me 250,000 euros just before she died, which I didn't accept. And the reason why is because I knew that wasn't mine. It wasn't for me. It wasn't meant for me. It didn't feel right. And she already used to pay me 80 euros for a session. I'd already got paid. What are you giving me this money for? To do good. I don't need that money to do good. And it didn't feel right. And I say this to people who do readings and healings. You're going to get people who offer you their properties when they die. I've had it loads of times. Only 2 years ago, somebody wanted to leave me. I don't want your property. I don't want anything because that's not mine. It's not meant for me. And people will say, oh, you need to learn to accept. Yeah, you might be right. But you know what? I know a lot of people who have been hurt by accepting something because somebody else comes along and then calls you and said, you stole this of that. Like, I didn't steal anything. If I accept that, then you're attacked. So you have to go through that. And that's another extreme thing. But for me, it's like, just use your intuition. Just use your intuition when it feels right and not, because you are dealing with something profound here. And when you read for somebody and you help them along that journey, there is something in that where people try to connect with you and try to bring you into their world as if they're a savior. Don't do that. Don't do it, no matter how good it might make it. Don't do it. Don't sell your soul. Don't sell your soul. You're doing a job. You get paid for it. That's it. Thank you very much. Bring me a present. That's great. A nice crystal. Lovely. Thank you very much. But don't start thinking that you deserve all of these things. It's not like you've taken care of somebody for 30 years, cleaned their house when all the other family didn't give a shit about them, and you've always been there and you've helped them and you've done everything for them. You've taken them everywhere. That's a different scenario. That's a different scenario. I'm talking about you being a reader or a healer. Okay. I might be boring you already and you want to know more, but I so important to have the grounding before we start talking about the cards. Okay. And I don't mind going on a little bit. I don't mind talking a little bit more. Okay. But I'm sorry if I like, oh my God, he's going off on one. Maybe I am, but I think it's important. So the cards are here. Okay. Side by side. I've just felt the person's energy. You might not want to do, you might just want to read. Okay. So let us focus on, because there's two types of reading, a type of reading that you'd read for somebody, or the type that you'd read for yourself. And I guess right now, there's going to be a lot of people in the chat box who would like to read for themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. Always bear in mind that when you read for yourself, you need to feel balanced. Okay. Now, here's the thing. You have to learn to become strong. And what that means is not listen to the brain, because there's going to be a battle between your brain trying to sway you to think that the cards actually mean something else. And your consciousness knows what the cards mean, because your consciousness knows everything. So what you're trying to do is connect to your consciousness to be able to read the cards. Okay. So I'm about to open myself up to you, right? By way of, I'm going to read for me. I'm going to tell you who I am at the moment and how I'm doing. Okay. And now I have no issues with that, because I'm an open book. I've always been an open book. I don't lie. I don't cheat, in the sense of I don't try and wind you up or try. If I'm not in a good place, I ain't in a good place. But to be honest, these past 5 years, the only time I've been really, really bad is when they started injecting children. That's when I went off. I kind of felt the pain. And even now I'm going to start crying. So I don't want to, because I know how many people are now suffering and how many children are now suffering. But apart from that, I'm normally I've got a boring life. I don't have, anything like, I'm not a sex maniac, or I'm boring. I'm pretty boring. I get up in the morning, I go to Banana Kitchen, I have that, come back here, work on crystals, don't really talk to many people. This is where my conversation is. Go home and just sit down, might just flick through the internet and just see what's going on. And then I go to bed and then come back again. That's the extent of my life, unless I go to ballet, which is, very rare now because of all the stuff what's going on. But yeah, so and my emotions are all on all of my videos, meaning that what I've been through in my life, my dad, my mum, I've shared it all because it doesn't hurt me anymore. The abuse that I went through, I've been abused, all of these things, doesn't affect me anymore because I've got over it. So what I read from here, when I hold my first card up to show you and how I read for myself, if anything, you'll see, oh my God, that's a reminder. I didn't realize I was like that. Oh my God, I've got that way. So it's almost like I'm reading for somebody else, right? I do not influence the cards. I will not influence the cards. I have worked too hard to let that go. And I see too many readers influence the cards to make the client happy or to make themselves happy. Oh, that's a wrong card, I'll choose another one. You're not using the cards, or you're not a reader. You're not a reader then. Okay. So specifics now. Okay. So what I'm going to say to you is this. Right? I'm going to specifically say one question, and then I'm going to hold a card up. Right. Is the mango farm, does the farm care for me? Am I caring for the farm enough? Am I doing anything right and wrong? Tell me anything about the farm that I'm at that you feel you want me to know. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the world. And inside the world, there are wands. The wands normally relate to the mind. So we see mountains as well. And if you look underneath the ground, it looks a bit dark. Now, straight away, I've got this feeling like there's something that I've not understood at the moment. There's something not right at the moment. I'm not thinking about it. And I would say that's Mother Earth. So my land, my cards, the intuition that I'm feeling is I am not looking at something within Mother Earth because I live by the mountains. And there's something dark here, which is underneath. So what I'm hearing Spirit is saying is there's possibly an issue underground. So there's something that I'm not seeing that I need to look at. So the first feeling I'm getting is, could it be that there is not enough nutrients, or does the land, are you trying to say to me that the land needs feeding, or does it need help? It needs water. It needs water. The land needs more water. Can we see the water there? The cups are love. So the land needs more water. There's not enough water. We need to get more water. Okay, so that's clear as day. The cards are saying to me, this is what I'm hearing, that we need more rain. We need more rain. We need more water. Okay, so what I'm feeling is that the land is dried. And now I'm coming to understand what that means, because this year the mangoes are dark, they're not light. And maybe it's because there's not been enough water. Anyway, that's how that is the beginning of how I would read, right? So it's this kind of specific question. Is there any, do I need to do anything in the land? Is there anything about the land? And you saw how that worked, right? You could see it's not that difficult to read these cards. Quite easy, really. You just got to tune to it. Now, health, Mark. I'm going to go to the other side now. Oh, which side do you want me to go to? Left or right? Doesn't matter, does it? I'll go to this side. Okay. Okay. Health. Is there anything that I need to know about my health? This is a card that says, I have taken control of my life. It means that I'm behind the wheel of the car. I am in control of my car. I am working on my spiritual self, which is that there in the center. That's the spiritual. If you see a light within your head, it means that you're working on your emotions, and it means that you're doing well. You're in your car, you're in your Ferrari, you're going to cross the finishing line, you're going to do this. Everything is going well. You are protected. The helmet is on you. It means you're protected by spirit. Everything looks fine. Everything looks good. So I'm happy. That's good. Thank you. So I'm happy with that. Okay. Is this meaning anything to you guys? Do you feel what's happening here? Are you feeling the attunement that we're getting? There's no anger. There's no worry. There's just, you know what? I trust my cards. I believe in my cards, because my cards are not here to hurt. They're not here to cause pain. They're not here to say the death card. They're not here, hangman. They're not here they're just here to help me. And that is the balance and the principle of using the cards. There's no ego. There's no listen to me, I'm better than you. That's all bullshit. That's all crap. Get rid of all that. These are here, and yes, they are powerful. And yes, you should honor them, and you should have respect for them. And I do, but in a light-hearted manner. Feel joy, feel happy when you read. And if something comes up that you think, oh, okay, how do we get through this? Find a resolution, find the answers, not focusing on the negative like so many readers do. And it's not their fault. It's easy because there's so much negativity around, and anybody can see that you're not well or you're not feeling good. There's a lot of people at the moment not feeling well because they can't sleep. Okay, so we're going to ask that question. Is there anything that Mark Bajerski and all you guys can do? What can we do to make people feel better? Or how can we help people sleep better? I'm going to choose a card. This is the only card that says, this is the yes card. This is the sun card. Now, if you relate to the sun and you understand the sun, what does the sun give us? Vitamin D, which means that we are lacking in vitamins, which means that the answer to people not sleeping right is there is a problem with deficiency of minerals and vitamins. So to get to the top of your mountain, to be able to sleep well, to be able to feel better is, and I can see blood here, that we need to cleanse the blood. We need to clear the blood. So yes, definitely get the sun. That's the most natural way. But if you live in Finland, Sweden, Norway, maybe there's no sun. So you need to look at what you can take, because the reason why you're lacking in sleep is because you are deficient of something. The world is becoming deficient. So this is what the card is telling me today. Okay, you kind of get the idea. Okay, I have to use myself, or I can use you. I can use you and answer a question if I can. So hang on a minute, let's have a look. This beautiful soul, anything below this soul, ask a question and I'll see if we can find an answer. Okay. I don't want to start doing this tarot reading online and telephone readings. This isn't what this is about. I'm not here to prove anything or to be brilliant at the job. I'm trying to kind of help you see how to use the cards and work with the cards, right? So, in a light-hearted manner. Good for you. Good for you. No, you can't become a counselor. You can't become a counselor. You can't become an expert at anything. You are just here because soon as you say you become, no, 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 it's not you. The cards are not you because so many do that. And that's where you go wrong. And that's where you end up making mistakes because you start thinking that, oh, I remember all of these and I've got the answers to everything because it's up. No, 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 no. Each client is different. You can't just tell somebody to do something because it could be completely different. So I don't know if that was the question, but no, you are here. Your client is there. You know nothing about your client and you're just going to see what it says. So no, you're not a counselor, but the person sat in that seat might think you are if you give them that if you show them signs that you are. No. But anyway, okay. Are evil forces working against the sheep farm guys? Okay. So this is a very, very powerful card. It's the card that says we're talking about sheep farm. So if you look carefully, the person is a wizard, is a very powerful soul looking in the right direction. And look, they're listening to the right things. And you look at their brain, look at all the information that they've got. So this is almost like a wizard philosopher, somebody who sees correctly. And they are attuned, very attuned. So the sheep farm guys are very, very attuned and very powerful. Okay. When you have got this kind of power, when you are touching, when you are hitting the right things, when you are becoming so powerful, right, with your knowledge and your understanding and whatever you do, this is what happens. You become so bright that the darkness does tend to fear you, and thus it will try to stop you. So the answer, I would say, is that sheep farm are doing a brilliant job and they shouldn't stop and they should continue doing what they're doing regardless to whatever tries to stop them. Keep being who you are, genuine, see the light, listen, and just keep going. That would be my answer to that. I didn't even know they were, but there you go. I haven't spoken to them for a while, but we've all gone through it, and I'm sure we will continue. Okay, I guess that's a lovely question, eh? What can I do to be a better healer and help others? Okay. So, first of all, you don't drink enough water. So you need to drink a little bit more water on a daily basis, more regular rather than all at once. There's a little bit of a hole there. So each time you do a healing session, you're filling the hole in. So it's a twofold situation. You drink water, you fill that hole, and that dry becomes nice and natural and wonderful. You're very sensitive because the heart is beep, the heart monitor is there, tells me you're sensitive and what you're going through right now. And look at this beautiful, look at this. That's how strong you are. That's your spiritual core. That's your spiritual core. And that's really strong. The petals are a representation of you, your old you. And the old you is spiritual, enlightening. You're definitely connected to the spirit world. They love you. A lot of the times, what we do is we repeat certain patterns, or like a record, we keep repeating the same patterns. If spirit was to speak to you through these cards, like I feel they are, I kind of feel I want to say, break up what you do, change your pattern a little bit, do something different. Just do something spontaneous every day in your life. Regards to love, if you just want me to mention this, you're doing really well because you're working on yourself. Your past relationship, whatever you've been through in life, you're becoming stronger. You're working on, there's 2 cups fallen, which means that you need to lift them cups back up. But everything that's happening here looks like you're getting rid of old petals. So the new petals are going to start to grow. So it looks like in these next 7 months of your life, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. So what I'm feeling is that you're on the right path. You're working on yourself. You are true to yourself. You love yourself more than you've ever loved yourself before. And through the work that you're doing, is that what will heal you? So there is nothing wrong with you. You are going through what's called the tests and challenges of life, and you are doing a great job. You're doing fantastic. So there's nothing really for me to say other than keep doing what you're doing. Maybe just be a bit more spontaneous in your life. It's hard for us to do because we're like rabbits. We keep going on the same run because we think it's safe. But actually, there's a reason why they're telling me for you to do something spontaneous, because there might be some magic there. Okay. Nice card, though. I always like that card. How to heal self? We'll just go with that question. I just answered that really. So there's an eagle right above me now, the most huge eagle. It's always a good sign. Try and find some different questions. Right, the tower for me, the tower card. I don't know if anybody who's got that tower card. For me, it's very, very simple. It just means that whatever is happening in your life is that your foundations are not strong. Because if you look at the card, there's like this sand, and the sand is basically built on the tower. So inevitably, whatever you are working on, you have to look at the root cause of what you're working on, and you have to understand that sometimes we do things because we think, oh, it's a great idea, but we don't really make the foundations. So if you build a house, the first thing that you need to do is build your foundations, to depending on how big you want the house. So everything, like, I want to be a healer, right? If I want to be a healer, then you're going to have to learn to heal yourself. You're going to have to learn to eat correctly. You're going to have to learn to clear the emotions. You're going to have to work on yourself before you become a good healer. So that is basically what the tower means to me. So if somebody comes to me and said, look, I'm thinking about setting up a business, turn the card over. Okay, before you set the business, don't do it, but before you do it, it's important that you get good foundations. So whatever your idea is, The idea might be great, but you need to get your foundations right, because you don't want to look back one day and think, I wish I'd have said that before I did the business. I'll give you a great example. The tower card comes up quite a lot when two people come and sit in front of me, or when they did. And I'd say, in my head, I'm thinking the tower card's going to come up. Why? Because they haven't discussed what the foundations are. So we want to go into business together. Okay, how are you going to do it? Well, we don't know, but we're going to go into business. Well, how about we look at what to do before we do it? Like what? Well, how about you are you and you are you, and you come together as separate entities with your own umbrella. And if at any given moment you just don't feel like you want to do it anymore because, like, somebody's passed away in my family, or somebody's hurt and I don't feel well, or I've got cancer, and then, oh, I see what you mean. All right, what you're saying is that we can work together, and it's a bit like a partnership, but we are our own entity. So at any given moment, we have, so it's not a business as such, it's two people who come to, so what's your name? My name's Martin. What's your name? My name's Emily. So Emily, Martin, business. Not, it's called the umbrella business, right? Because then it's just one business, and it's difficult then where you're going, but you're two separate entities that come together to, let's do a project together. And if anything happens, then we can go at any given moment. So that to me is a foundation, solid foundation. So you're not like, you said you were going to do this, we were going to be partners. No. Start off with a good foundation. So the tower card is that two people come together. Should I be going, is this woman right for me? You turn the card over. You need to, first of all, know your foundations with this person. What is it you want out of this relationship? You need to help your client understand that it isn't a bad card. It's a card that's saying that you need to look at what you're doing before you do it. It doesn't matter if it's a business, if it's a relationship, if it's whatever you're going through in life. So that's how I see that card. Not really, but thank you. Should I move from my 5-acre into a condominium? I am 79. I lost my husband 2 years ago. Okay, so I take this card. This card, okay, is a fabulous card. Fabulous card, meaning that the property that you own could be that it's worth a lot more than what you think. So somebody or could offer you a lot of money. And there's a new key there. And that key normally represents a house. So it could be that October or the 10 months from now or something like that, there could be that you might get a really good offer, and that there might be a new key. And what I'm seeing there is that it could be, maybe you might even consider living near to the sea or closer to the sea. Is it a good move? It doesn't say it's a bad move. If you stay where you are, is it good to stay where you are? Well, there might be some issues with where you are. It might be memories of your past that it's hard for you to break free from. And the chains are breaking. They're definitely breaking. So, but in the mind, emotions are coming up, and my memories. And so what I'm picking up on here, what I'm feeling, and I could be wrong, but maybe the fact that you are moving is to move away from the emotion of where you are. So there's nothing wrong with moving, but the point being is, as we all know, in these cards, it doesn't say it's good or bad, but my feeling is this is my feelings. I'm reading the card. My feeling is that I can run away from anywhere. I can run away from my relationship, from my past, but I never ever I never resolve anything because it's always there. So I now work on resolving whatever I feel where I am. And then I move and do what I need to do. Because when I move, I'm moving with a clean slate or a greater energy, a more powerful energy, and I've healed my past. So sometimes the idea of moving and running away because of what we're leaving behind may catch up on you wherever you are. It's just that feeling I have. But it's not right, it's not wrong, it's not good, it's not bad. But ultimately, we have to work on ourselves. And that's my feeling on that. Can you ask advice for my wife who needs healing? I can. Beautiful wife. The feeling I get here is that, like, when I look at this, I see that I want my past back. I want my youth back. I want to feel good. I want to feel happy. Certain things that I would do is bring back joy into the life and go for bike rides. This is like, and also, if it's possible, try and do your best to give in a way of making her feel young and happy and gorgeous, and go and have a makeup massage, new ideas, new beginnings, and all of these wonderful things that I want to feed the mind so that the body heals. So I don't want to know what's going on at all, but what I'm seeing is that we can heal ourselves if we can heal the mind. To heal the mind, we need to bring back that joy and that happiness, and it's all in the mind. And if you heal the mind, you heal the body. Okay, that's all the questions I'm going to answer now, because I don't want to feel like I'm a psychic reader. But do you understand how that works? So now what I'm going to do is just show you a few cards just as they are, and just explain what those cards mean. So I'll pick this one up and look at this one. Now, if you're reading for somebody, right, and they say, look, I've just met somebody and I don't know really much about him. Is there anything that you can see? So it's a lovely lady in front of me, and I turn this card over. The first thing I see is a very strong man. Now, depending on how you see his eyes, it could be like the guy could be a bit aggressive. There's a lot of red there, a lot of fire. So he might have an anger issue. He does listen, and he listens very carefully. He's listening to everything. He's clocking everything he's saying. So it could be that everything that he interprets, it's not always on a positive. It could be that it might be a little bit negative. So he's looking for the negative. Whenever I see this, it reminds me of somebody who could have been used to being a leader, or in the army, or somebody who was being well respected, or could be a pilot. So he's used to everybody giving him what he wants. He's used to getting his own way. So do you see how the cards work? Right? So it's not really a negative, but it just gives people an understanding that that person might have a personality, but then you turn this card over and you might see something completely different. It might not feel the same. And the question which is asked, another question which is asked, and you turn this over, it might be similar, related, but might be completely different. So just because I've read this card this way, it doesn't mean that's the way it's to be read. It just feels that way now. So every card is very unique to each individual reading. So we look at this card, and we don't focus on the breasts unless we're reading for somebody, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, there's somebody asking me here, I've got an issue in relationship. I turn this card over and I can clearly see that there's two people in your relationship. You're with two women, one possibly with bigger boobs than the other, Doesn't really matter. It's not really why I'm doing it, but there's two women here. One who is clearly more extrovert and the other one introvert. You sat down and you really don't know what to do. However, if you look at the path behind, the path splits into two. And if you look behind both paths, guess what you see? A light in both paths, which clearly to me says it doesn't matter who you decide to be within your life. Each one of them are beautiful. So it's not really an answer, but it is, because the guy goes away and says they're both beautiful. I love them both. I don't want to hurt any of them. Mark says they're both beautiful. Ultimately, I make the choice. Right? The guy makes the choice, not me, not the reader. If I would have picked this card up and let's just say one of them's dark and the other one isn't, I would then read what it meant for the one who was in the dark place. So I would then turn a card over and say, okay, she's in a bad place because she's jealous. The red in the eye, she's jealous. She's angry. She's got attachments. She's mad at you. And that's why she's in a bad place. So now he can see that one of them's upset. So you're not saying, oh, she's horrible. No, she's not horrible. You need to know why she's horrible. Don't just say she's horrible. That's lazy work as a psychic reader. Do you see how now things are changing? Now we're not just blaming. We're not just saying, don't do that. We're looking deeper into it and we're becoming somebody who's showing resolution to all of these things. So they walk out of that door without thinking, I didn't really understand what he meant. What you're making clear, and what I used to do, is clients used to walk out and say, I know exactly what I need to do now. I know exactly, I have no more worries or fears. I get what I need to do. Why? Because we looked into the small things that a lot of readers don't do. They miss them. They miss them out. And they do. They miss them out because of ego, because they can't be bothered. Me, it's so important that we look at everything. We sit on the fence. We're not judging. Who are we to judge? Who are you to judge? You cast a stone if you haven't done anything wrong in your life. I've done tons of things wrong. Who am I to judge? Oh, don't go with him. Don't go with her. Do you know how awful and how bad that is, that you could split somebody up with somebody by saying, don't go with that person? Or don't do that, or don't do that job, don't do that. Do you know that is dangerous. That is dangerous. So I always stop myself from saying anything that, you know what? Just imagine this, right? This is what I used to do, imagine things just to keep me on my toes. Woman walks through the door. I'm with somebody. Should I be with him or not? No, he shouldn't. She walks out that door. She sits down next to the guy and he says, oh, how was that? I don't want to be with you anymore. He told me I shouldn't be with you anymore. The guy walks up the stairs and smashes you in the face. I used to have, right? I'm not kidding. I swear to God, I am not kidding. I had the most dangerous man come to me for readings. He was the number one kingpin, basically. He was the Russian gangster here. And I used to have to read for his wife. Think about that. Think about that. Okay, so you've got to be extremely, if you read carefully and read right, and stop with a yes or no, don't do this, yes, stay with him, don't stay with him. Just don't do that. It's wrong, it's dirty, it's sloppy, and to me, that's not reading. That really isn't a reading. So if you can stop yourself from that and try to adapt a way that you find resolution and you help people. So I remember one of my favorites were Adam Sachs. You might know him as a famous uh, guy. He's in Bali at the moment, and he became a personal friend of mine. I don't, he's gone through a lot of things. I'm not going to say what, but beautiful guy inside, and as all of us, we're all trying to better ourselves. And I remember one day I was in LA and I read for him, and I said, "Oh," I turned over that card. The first card that we looked at, and I said, "Oh, there's a fast car here," but it turned to black. I said, "It's a black car," and I said, "If you get a black car, right? Before you get in the car, remember this. Take it to a garage and let them look at it first." And then a few years later, he said, "Do you remember when you'd give me a reading?" I said, "No, I can't remember. This is how I remember," because he told me afterwards. And then, so he bought a Porsche, a black Porsche. This is what I remember. So you'd have to ask him if it was right or wrong, but this is what I remember. And he says, Mark, he says, "You're not going to believe this." He said, "I remembered what you said, took it into a garage. The pipes of the braking system had corroded." And the guy said, "This was a dangerous car." Like, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just bloody beautiful? So without saying anything negative, without saying anything, like if somebody comes in and you don't feel that, something just doesn't feel right, don't just say something doesn't feel right, go to the doctor. You scare them to death and you might create something even more. But if you feel there's something not right, then you turn the card over and start looking and say, "So how have you been eating? How have you been eating?" You look, because you look in the card, the cards are showing you. Like, it could be a deficiency, it could be something that they're eating that they maybe not be eating. Maybe are you eating a little bit too much? Maybe you could start eating these fruit because these are good for you. And maybe if you like, how are you feeling in yourself? But like, you don't want to ask questions, but you're trying to come up with a way to help somebody see that, "Oh yeah, I haven't been feeling too good. Yeah, you're right. I've been feeling a bit bad. Okay, well, maybe we can start working on ourselves and start like maybe going to I don't tell people to go to the doctors, but what I do say is start to work on your health and maybe look at alternative, find alternative practitioners to strengthen your body and yourself. And these things don't come with fear. Don't put fear in people, because then that opposite placebo, is going to make them feel sick and ill, right? Guys, you're sending money. Thank you. Please don't send money. Thank you. I'll give a crystal away to somebody. You don't need to send money. I'm all right. I really, really am doing really well. So you don't need to send money. But thank you so much, and I promise I'll give, I'll give, I'll do something lovely tonight. But thank you. Don't need to do that. Oh, okay. Is the New World Order a real thing, or is it just a conspiracy theory? Okay, I'll just too many questions, right? I struggle with too many questions. One question, direct. So we're just going to take that first thing. Is the New World Order real? So if you look at this card, what do you see? Look at it carefully. You see a man. You see a man with his eyes closed, with a mustache. You see what's on his mind: sex. As I see above, I see the colors of a flag. Above here, colors of a flag. That's what I see as I look carefully at it. What I see is women's parts and men's parts. So there's a lot going on in this man's head. His eyes are closed, so all he sees is sex and body parts and kind of ritualistic kind of energy. So it's not a balanced soul. It's one where the man feels or thinks he's super special. If you look carefully, there's feathers, which normally means that he thinks he's very wise and very powerful. What we've got here is, when I'm looking deep into the card, somebody who desires everything, desires not just the world, but desires that everything revolves around him. Everything that is written here is written in a way that is almost like ancient, but more so, it's almost crazy. It's almost feels dark. Everything in this card now, what I'm seeing is a mask. I'm seeing a mask appearing, somebody pretending to be something, somebody pretending to be powerful. The mustache is part of the energy as well, which I don't really understand the mustache, why that's coming out, but it's becoming, could it be a person with a mustache who's behind the scenes? It feels like this. I don't know who this person is. It doesn't feel like that what you've said is it a real thing. It feels like it's behind, it's invisible, it's dark, but this is somebody who is extremely powerful and at the same time ritualistic. So the question is it real? This card doesn't say it's real, but it does say that there are people in this world who want to run the world, who want to create this kind of power and this kind of ritualistic energy. That's how I see it. I think it's easy to band everything as one, but I think if you look at life in a playground, and I see the world as a playground, everybody's got their own unique expression of what they want in this world due to what they've been through as children. And as they grow up, each singular has their own. Even if you've got a boardroom of a new world order, each one of them in that room is just a singular person with their own unique expression or their own experience and what they want in the world and what they want to take from the world and what they want to do to the world as bullies. That's how I see it. So maybe the idea of a new world order is simply human beings doing what they do best, and that is to control and to want to take and reap and destroy the world. But you can, I guess, call it a new world order. That's how I see it in the cards, anyway. So I think we blow things out of proportion. I think we like to box things up because it makes us feel better. Oh yeah, new world order. Oh yeah, maybe it's just people who have been through bad things and want to express themselves in the way they do and do things that you and I just think is beyond our capability. But there are people who want to do bad things because of certain reasons. You know, they want to kill people, they want to hurt people because of what they've been through. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So we started at 6 o'clock. It's an hour and 15 minutes. That is basically 1 hour of tarot lessons. I have a tarot course online that these cards relate to. So basically what it is I designed a tarot course which is not like beautiful, but just like this, me taking a card and talking about that card. And it's 10 hours. And that course is €300, £300. And it comes with a deck of cards. But I said to Arlene, will you please put that course at £100 now for 24 hours? So it's like you're now going to get, if you want, you can book that course if you go to markbajerski.com, and if you go onto the home page and scroll down, you'll see me in a purple with cards. You click on that, it's no longer 300, 295, it's 100 for 24 hours. And you get your cards by DHL. So DHL costs us anywhere between 28 and 35. The cards are normally 25 euros. So that's nearly 50 euros already. So I think it's a good offer, and it's for 24 hours. If you enjoyed this and you can afford it, then fine. If you can't afford it, if you can't afford that course, right, just say, I just don't have that. And I'd love to learn the cards, and I'd love to have your cards, Mark. But I really swear to God, I can't afford, I don't have the money. Just say yes now. So that's the first one. Linda. Oh. Maria. Okay. So tonight, as a gift to say, I love you all. I can't do it for everybody. I do my best. John, Francis, Linda Bo, Christine, and Maria. So you're the lucky ones tonight that you will be sent the cards by DHL free, and the course will be free. Anybody else, I guess if you can afford, you can afford. If you can't, you can't. But I keep trying to do things as much as I can free, and I will do forever until my last breath. So don't get upset about it. Don't be upset, because I'll always try and do as much as I can. Do you know what I've noticed? Do you know what I tell you this now? I have a massive respect for the Richie Allen radio show. I swear to God, and I now realize why I've donated so much money to his show. I've done it because I didn't realize, not just because we need to help Richie continue, but I realized how much that guy works. I have done a 1 hour or 1 hour and 20 minutes or 1 hour and 30 minutes for the past 3 days. And I've realized I have got a new respect for Richie Allen. I get it now. I get how hard that man works and how much effort he puts into it, that he has a show Monday to Thursday and then on a Sunday. I swear to God, I don't know how he does it. I am wishing you all a lovely evening. I am going to leave you with one card for all of us, and it's a message for all of us, okay, including me. Get these cards. So do you want to just close your eyes and just listen to your message? Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Get off the computer and close your eyes for a moment. Stop writing. Close your eyes. I want to give you a message. It's for you. Okay. What I feel tonight is that we spend too much time focused on others and on other people's plans. The world that is sometimes messed up, dark, deceiving. But what I see is that we sometimes become part of that dark and deceiving world because we focus too much on it. My message to you tonight is give yourself a break. Stop focusing on the dark and fully focus on yourself. It's time to focus on the good, the kindness, the loving, the beautiful, the strong, and the wise. So please, leave the suffering, leave the pain, just for a short while. This is my message. Thus, you will receive a new energy. Green I see around you. Green is of healing, of peace. Green is of the grass, of Mother Nature. Give yourself time in Mother Nature. Let Mother Nature heal you from your pain and your worries and your fears. For the world will continue whether you're here or not. So what do you want to leave behind? Fear, sadness that you were enthralled in, pulled into? Or do you want to create and leave a legacy of love and kindness, creating and making the best in your life? Well, your message is simple. Let the suffering go and create joy and happiness today. That's my message from Spirit. I'm wishing you all a lovely, lovely evening. Take care of yourselves. Be strong, be amazing. And thank you for joining me tonight. Love you all. Bye for now. Bye, guys.